This is video number 5 for Access Module 3 in the Shelly Cashman book on Microsoft Office 365. We're on page 3-37, changing the appearance of a data sheet. The first topic is including totals in a data sheet. So we want to open the veterinary vendors table. So let's double click on it. They want us to close the navigation pane. Go to the Home tab. Click on the Totals button up here. Total row will appear at the bottom of your grid. Go to the total amount column in the total row. There'll be a little down arrow here. Click on the down arrow. And we want to compute the sum of the numbers in that column. So click on Sum. Okay, when finished, again, select the sum. Click the Totals button to remove the total row from the data sheet. So go up here and turn it off. Now it's gone. Now we're on the middle of page 3-39. To change grid lines in a data sheet, open Veterinary Vendors in Data Sheet View. We've already got it open. If necessary, close the navigation pane. We've already got it closed. Click the data sheet selector, the box in the upper left corner of the data sheet to select the entire data sheet. So that's this little triangle right here. Click the Grid Lines button on the Home tab. That would be this button right here. Click Grid Lines Horizontal in the Grid Lines gallery to include only horizontal grid lines. We're at the top of page 3-40. And now the vertical lines go away. Now we're on changing the colors and font in the data set on page 3-40. With the data sheet for the veterinary vendors table selected, click the alternate row color button arrow. That would be this button right here. Click brown in the upper right hand corner here of the standard colors. Click on that. Now let's go click our font color up here. Click on the down arrow. We want dark blue. And that would be this color right here. Click on that. Now all of our fonts should be blue. Now we're going to change the font name. So click on the font name up here. Click on the down arrow. We want Bodoni MT. So let's scroll down just a little bit further. It's probably on this one right here. And Bodoni MT is right there. Now click the font size. Change the font size to 10. And now let's go to the top of page 3-41. We're not going to experiment with other colors, fonts, and font sizes, but you can if you want to. When finished, return to the options selected in these steps. And we're not changing them, so we don't have to return. Now let's go to the bottom of page 3-41. To close the data set without saving the format changes, close the veterinary vendors table. Click on the X. It wants to know if we want to save any of the changes that we just made, and the answer to that is no. Click on No. We're now at the bottom of page 3-42, including multiple values on one row of a query. We want to create a query for the appointment table and close the navigation pane. We're on the bottom of page 3-42. We want to include multiple values on one row of a query. Number 1 says create a query for the appointments table and close the navigation pane. Well, let's open the navigation pane here, and actually we don't need that open, do we? We can just click on create, go to query design, choose tables over here. Appointments is the table we want. Stretch out the field list here so we can see all of them. And then we want to include some fields, the appointment ID, double click on it, patient ID, double click on it, appointment date, double click on it, and treatment number, double click on it. So all 4 of those columns appear down here. Now let's go to the top of page 3-43, click on the run button, and we get multiple values in the treatment number column because that is a multi-valued field. We want to save the query without closing it, and we're going to call it M03Q01. Let's go to save, call it M03Q01. Click on OK. Now we're at the bottom of page 3-43. We're going to include multiple values on multiple rows of a query. Switch over to Design View. Make sure we still got the same 4 fields included at the bottom, and we do. Click the treatment number field to produce an insertion point. Press the right arrow as necessary to move to the end of the field name. Okay, UMBER, and I don't want to hit the arrow key another time because if I do, I'll go to the next field. Type a period, and if the word value doesn't appear, type the word value. Well, it did appear, so we're good. Now let's flip over the top of page 3-44. And let's run the query. We're getting the same data we had before, except the difference now is this would have been one row before. It's the same appointment ID and appointment date, and these two values would have been on the same row. So it's basically the same results being returned. They're just being returned in a different format. We want to save this as a new query. So let's go to our File tab and choose Save As. It's an object. Click on Save As. And it's going to be, just delete that, M03Q02. Click on OK or hit the Enter key and close the query. Next section is on referential integrity, and we'll do that in a separate video.